Good morning. Welcome back, beautiful people, to the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I am delighted this morning to talk to the very beautiful and charming and hella smart Dr. Brittney Yancy. Hello, darling.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
It's nice to see you again.
Always so great to see you.
Now, before we get started into the conversation I want to have, so you're leaving a job to go to another job. You're a leading scholar on African American studies and I believe women's studies. Am I right?
Yes, so my focus is on African American studies in the 20th century, and I focus on Black women's organizing.
Yes. So she's leaving us in Connecticut to go back to her roots.
Yes, back home to the Midwest.
She's a Midwest girl, so she's going back home to her roots. And in a matter of days, as a matter of fact.
Yes. So, I am packing up as we speak.
So it is. Listen, it is not lost on me your commitment to this and your willingness to sort of have this conversation, because I know what it's like to pack and try to get out of a space. So what brings you to the studio this morning is this amazing exhibit, 30 Americans, and it runs from June 17th to Sunday, October 30th. And it is drawn from the acclaimed Rubel Museum in Miami, Florida. 30 Americans showcases works by some of the most significant artists of the last 4 decades, including Jean-Michel Basquiat, Micheline Thomas, Kara Walker, Hank Willis Thomas, and Kahili Wiley. So the New Britain Museum said, listen, we want this exhibit. We're going to get some of the best scholars we know, and they're going to have them curated. And the scholars are Dr. Dan J. Broiled, Provost Nicole Stanton, and our own Dr. Brittney Yancy. The exhibition is a catalyst for community and conversation and engages active collaboration with the museum staff. 30 Americans. So this is what's read in the that I took from the museum website, but to physically see it is stunning. So first of all, it's not lost on me that it's called 30 Americans and not 30 Black Americans or 30 African Americans or 30 mixed race Americans or whatever. It is 30 Americans. Talk about that part first before we get into all the artists that I was delighted to see.
Yeah, I think that title in and of itself is a conversation. It's ways that this exhibition really enters the Black experience through the gaze of these artists, right? And they reclaim, redefine, and help us reimagine what it means to be American through the Black experience. And so the title could be its own conversation because, if you were to ask anybody some of the questions that I think this exhibition deals with, right? Like, what does it mean to be American? What does it mean to be Black in America? What does freedom mean to you? I mean, these are things that in the events that we have had over the course of the last 3 weeks, we've been kind of grappling with. So the event that we did on the 7th, July 7th with Andre Rochester. I mean, this is the question about what does freedom mean? We dealt with in the conversation when we did our opening event last month with all three curators. These are our moderator. Shout out to Adrian Elliott. She's an artist. She asked the audience, what does freedom mean to you? And I think these are questions that the work in this exhibition deals with, and it pushes us to kind of go beyond what we know, right? Just challenge ourselves to think beyond what we see. These artists takes us into the American experience through the gaze of these amazing contemporary artists.
I was struck by the title alone because I'm so used to seeing when it's about us, for us, through us, Black in front of that American part or African in front of that American part. And I love that it was just 30 Americans, not taken away from. See, and this is where it gets dicey for us, Dr. Yancy, because when we say we just want to be, we're not saying we don't want to be who we are, but no one else in this country has to preface saying, well, I'm Italian American, I'm white American, I'm Swedish American. We're the only ones that do that. And I get
it. Yes, this is something that I think Toni Morrison said, that everybody else has to have a hyphenate. It's hyphenated, right? That gets, it gets kind of dicey. So I definitely get it. That's why I think the title is so powerful in terms of it being definitive, of it to being intentional, as 30 Americans.
Yes, because we don't have to argue the point, but there's nuances to that weighs on people of color differently, I think. So,
right.
So tell me about how it's, because I saw it with you on Sunday and I was blown away by the expansiveness of it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's over 3 salons, 3 spaces, 3 galleries, and they each are themed, or correct? They each are themed based on the artist. So can you talk a little bit about how they're broken down, these galleries?
Absolutely. So when I was invited to join this team, I want to give a shout out to the museum team, Lisa Williams, really kind of brings together, as the associate curator of the museum, brought together this team and really allowed myself, my fellow curators, Professor Nicole Stanton and Dr. Dan Broiled, allowed us to just kind of play around. Like, we literally kind of had free reign to kind of just look at this, right? Look at the exhibition, look at the pieces, and think about how we would want someone to experience this exhibition. And we thought that we would take on 3 individual galleries and figure out how they spoke and were in conversation with each other. And we felt that particularly the themes of freedom, the themes of self-defining, self-defining, wonderment and imagination, all of these kind of words and processes we felt kind of came out in the works. And so we organized the exhibition into 3 galleries. The first gallery deals with the process of self-making. So when you walk in, you are able to experience some of the work where the artists are really kind of grappling with self-identity, thinking about how, as the theme says, making a way out of no way, phrase that you may hear in the Black community in particular,
yes,
of making a way out of no way, right? Dealing with issues of, overcoming, breaking through, pushing through in the face of oppression, trauma, and tragedy. in a very powerful way, and you see that. And so this self identity, radical Black self making in particular, is what Provost Nicole Stanton felt that the artist dealt with in that first gallery. Moving into the second gallery is Dr. Dan Broyles' gallery, where he's dealing with signs and wonders, right? Taking you into another world where you have different types of pieces, particularly abstract, those that deal with abstract, all types of kind of taking you to another world, really. And Dan, I have to give a shout out to Dan, right? Because I told you this when we were in the gallery. Dan really is the heart between the three galleries, right? His idea of there's a way in which kind of the spiritual connection between all 30 artists exists, and he was able to identify it. And so if everyone who experienced, I don't want to kind of like give it away, but as you're walking through, you're going to see the zodiac signs of every
Yes.
artist on the label. And that is intentional, because there's a certain type of spirituality, cosmology, that Dan feels that every artist is kind of speaking to. And particularly in his particular gallery, you see that with the various pieces that kind of deal with that. The third gallery is my gallery that I focus on very intentionally on the practice of adornment and wonderment.
Mm-hmm.
So the inspiration for my gallery really comes from a historian. His name is Robert D.G. Kelly, and he wrote this book called Freedom Dreams. And he argued in his book that art can transport you to a free world, that
Whoa.
artists have the power to do that, right? Through their art. And particularly when we talk about the Black experience, there's a role that art plays in terms of helping us get to freedom, right? Through the artist's craft. And I thought I've always held on to that. And I've always, looked at that, as a cultural historian, that, there's a role that art plays. And so in my particular gallery, in the last gallery, you deal with artists who are using adornment, materiality, textiles in their work, right? So
Oh, you muted yourself. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
You have everyone from Nick Cave and his sound suits to Kara Walker and her silhouette, right? So it's all types of different ways in which you have artists really kind of stepping into this free space and using their imagination, using textiles, using jewels, adornment to tell their stories.
I tell you, there's a couple of pieces that I was struck by that just moved me so much. All the pieces by Kahinde, I thought, because they're larger than life. And I just love that they're just big and Black as they could possibly be. And I love that. I love the shimmer and the sparkle of Micheline's pieces, to see them up close, to see them in composition with each other. I just thought, and they're so sexy. So, so sexy, And I thought, is this intentional? It must be, because I'm seeing it. I get it. So,
yes,
and the sound suits
that she uses rhinestone.
I love the sparkle.
The sparkle.
Yeah, the rhinestones just give it. I don't know, just elevates it. In ways that we just don't see Black women sparkle like that. Like deliberately. I'm gonna put these rhinestones on this thing. It's gonna be fabulous. And so
I think that's intentional. Like, I think her use of rhinestones to make it really feminine really speaks to her intention of really trying to demonstrate how Black women redefine the standards of beauty. And I think she achieves that in all of her works that are in there.
I think so. And then all the discoveries we made about the Kahindi piece with the
Yeah,
I'm not gonna give it away. I'm gonna let people find it for themselves. But that is one of my most favorite pieces, and to see it up close in real life was just stunning to me. And then the pieces adjacent to it, but the piece where he's mounted on the horse, I just thought is probably my favorite piece. And then the sound suits, I was moved by that because I it felt very African to me. It felt very indigenous. It felt very, not present and past at the same time.
absolutely. Which I think is, and it's funny, it's interesting that you say that because I think that's what I feel this exhibition does. It allows us to enter the past, right? Understand and kind of think about the present, but then also gives us that space in terms of really envisioning with our imagination, right? The future, right? Of what freedom looks like, what Blackness looks like, and how we kind of celebrate that through these pieces.
I will say the exhibition didn't give me a sense of downtrodden Black folks. Like it just all felt like, I don't know, like powerful, like badass. I love the picture when you first come in the gallery to your right, the brother in the 70s suit, the tall brother with the sunshades on, with sunglasses on. That piece. I mean, that was every Black man we knew in the 70s. Like that was
In the
there was Uncle Leroy,
right,
Uncle so and so,
I look
right?
at yes, yes, that is my dad, and I feel like on some Sundays that's still my dad, right? Like I mean, and you know what? You know what's so wonderful about that piece is that's a Barkley Hendricks piece. And Barkley Hendricks is he's not a native of Connecticut, but he spent his latter years in and ended his life here in Connecticut. So he has a Connecticut connection. But this particular piece, he did it in 1978, was inspired by a trip to Paris and all of the French African men just, strutting around in these suits. I mean, he just, I think he captures it perfectly. And everyone, I'm going to tell you, everyone loves this piece. And because I think everyone can connect to it. Everyone
Yes.
has this man in their family,
They
right?
have it in their family, whether you in Detroit or Memphis or Hartford or New Haven, you've got that uncle or that brother or somebody in your family. And the fact that, he saw this in Paris in the 70s just speaks to how our sense of style and culture transcends space and place, right? Like
Yeah.
what was cool in Africa was what was cool in Paris was very cool in Detroit and LA and Memphis and Atlanta and all. I mean, there was just brothers like this everywhere, right? Just
Yes.
a whole commitment to a style of dress that said, I'm about my business. I'm about being cool. And so I love it. I just sort of, and it's big. It's a big piece. So it just
Yeah.
makes you larger than life. So Brittney, was there any pieces that you absolutely love more than anything?
So there's two really. So I am a huge fan of Nick Cave as well. I am obsessed with these sound suits and
Yes.
I I first of all, I want one. I want one. I'm like, can he make one for me? But these sound suits, I just think knowing the history behind them, right? Being inspired to create a garb for Black men in the aftermath of Rodney King in the early 90s, right? This suit that is to serve as a free space for Black men to be Black men, where they are not boxed in, where they're free from societal biases and kind of caricatures of them, right? And just allowing them to be them, right? Allowing them to be. And I thought the story behind the sound suits was quite powerful. But the other element of it that is really inspiring is that they move, right? That they
I
move.
saw a
Nick Cave is
video
also
just the other day. Somebody posted
did
up a
also you
video.
did see the video, right? So Nick Cave
Yes.
is also a choreographer, and so they move. And I think I would love. I know that in the fall there'll be an art symposium, and I'm praying that we could get one of the sound suits part of the symposium so we can see how this moves and how it fully comes to be, because I think that'll be just quite powerful. So I think the sound suits are probably my most favorite. Um, Carl Walker is also just, I've always loved her. I've always followed her. A lot of what she deals with, of looking at how Black women's sexuality is portrayed.
Yeah, her piece is across the big wall in your gallery, right?
Right.
And she did
Her
the
piece.
sugar sculpture. Is she the same person?
So she's the one, hers is Camptown Ladies. It's a silhouette that scales across an entire wall, and it mocks and kind of rejects 19th century caricature, Black minstrelsy, and particularly the ways in which Black women in particular are kind of exploited in slave narratives. And so I love that she's raw and she deals with it, and she allows them to have agency. The Black women in her work have agency and reclaim their power, and that's something that I love that she kind of deals with.
It's an expansive piece, and it's an arresting piece, meaning you can't take your eyes off of it, and you can't miss the message. Like if you miss the message, I don't know where you've been, because any piece of that is going to affect you. I think, I mean, there was a lot of it that, you saw Sarah, what is it, Bartman,
Yep.
you saw Miss Ann, you saw, you know what I mean? Like you saw.
Yes. All of it. And it makes you kind of just step back and look at the ways in which she deals, right? Like she deals with the experiences of Black women, particularly during the Jim Crow era, right? I mean, these are ways in which, and then she does it in such like, this mock way in terms of thinking about even the title, Camptown Ladies, that's inspired by the Looney Tunes theme song. Like you gotta see it. I mean, it's really powerful, and you really do, like you said, have to sit with it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Brittney, I mean, art is not your background, I imagine.
It is not.
But you did an amazing job of curating your gallery. Talk a little bit about what that was like, and your process for thinking about the gallery that you put together.
Yeah, well, again, the three of us, Deanne, Nicole, and I, were able to kind of step into our own paths with this. And I think for me, when we understood kind of the overarching theme of freedom, being the overarching theme throughout the pieces, that was really easy for me. I am not. I don't have my degree in art history, nor am I an artist, but I am a cultural historian that loves to look at something like art, right? And understand the story that it's trying to tell. And I think that my process was how, what would be a good experience for somebody walking into this gallery and really understanding and appreciating the ways that artists can use something like sequence and textiles and silhouettes, right, to tell a narrative. And I think that was my like my whole process of just making sure that they understand and appreciate the tradition that these contemporary artists use in using, for example, a sound suit, right, made of sequins and jewels and all types of fabrics and textiles. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It
Or
is.
looking at the Simpson piece, Lerner Simpson's piece of the wigs, right, that are on
Yes.
felt, lithographs that are printed on felt. I mean, these are things that, again, just genius work that I thought the way in which I was able to work with the curator team to kind of lay this out. I think it all came together beautifully. And so something, again, that I've always wanted to do when I entered grad school and I started my PhD, I really have always been interested in public history, working in museums. So I feel like this is so full circle, being able to have this experience. So I just thank the New Brittney Museum. They've been amazing. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of the project.
I love it. And there's a Basquiat piece in the exhibit, which I don't know how many people get opportunity to see a Basquiat piece. I mean, I was blown away by the Kahindi piece. That's my ultimate love, and the Michelina piece. But the Basquiat would have to be my tight third, because I don't know when I'll get to see a Basquiat again.
I mean, I think all of us were blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, right? Being able to see a piece like this, I'm just I'm such a fan, just super humbled to be able to understand his process and his work, and to see one of his pieces up close. I agree with you. That's definitely in my top five.
Yeah, yeah, it's in my top five. It's in my. I mean, I think Kahinde being first, Michelina being second. The is it Cruz? It's Cruz. The brother that had the Parisian brother in the suit. That
Oh,
one.
Barkley Hendricks.
Yes, Barkley Hendricks. That's my third one. I loved. There was a piece in your gallery where it was showing love in a frivolous kind of way. They were frolicking with it was like a very gray black, had little pink hearts on it, and it showed a man and a woman in a park being lighthearted, which you never get to sort of see. And I thought that was
Yes,
I just love that piece. I was like, I really like this. You never get to
yes,
see
yes.
us in this way.
Exactly. I think that was a Carrie James Marshall piece.
Yes,
Towards the back, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And you had did you not have a Carrie Mae Weems piece a Carrie Mae Weems piece in the collection too, in the front
Yes.
gallery, which I mean, the range of artists is quite stunning.
Well, it's four generations, right, of African American artists, and I think that's alone just makes this such just a powerful exhibition, that you can go from a Carrie Mae Weems to Kehinde Wale, like, what I'm saying, like, this is quite powerful. But yeah, there is a Carrie Mae Weems piece in the front gallery, and it one of the things that I love about it is her kind of look, right? It's called Descending the Throne,
Yeah,
where she has what would be portrayed as this kind of this black, what some would call this kind of Uncle Tom character, versus the caricature and this kind of big mama kind of caricature. And it's kind of, you know, interesting the way in which the text that she has associated with it reclaims them, right? It kind of unpacks and rejects this kind of racial theory that kind of underscores, right, these caricatures as we know them in kind of mainstream, you know, narratives and history. And you know, the text that she has, and the red and the black tone in which they are created in, I mean, it is just quite powerful the way in which she reclaims their power. And so it's interesting, and even the title, "Descending the Throne," I love it. She is just such a master. And I just, you know, just to note, Mickalene Thomas is very clear that Carrie Mae Weems is one of her mentors. And when she, as an artist, a young artist, really decided to take a change and make a change in her career, that Carrie Mae Weems was a big part of that change, an inspiration of really trying to restore Black humanity to art, and being able, and particularly her focus in on Black women. And so you know, when we ask the question, which artists are in conversation with each other, they are much in conversation with each other in how they approach their craft. And so Carrie Mae Weems is just such a powerhouse. And, you know, again, all of them just, you know, give us so much to think about. But particularly, I'm just so grateful to have someone like her in the exhibition.
I'm gonna go back and see it. Probably take some more folks with me. Um, and I know um, you'll be back in Connecticut for some other things, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see you at that point. So before I let you go, what was this experience like for you? And would you do this again if you were called to invited to do it?
Absolutely. One of the things that I love about this process is the process of community that was involved in it. This is the role that art has to bring the community together. And so I applaud being able to be on this team as a curator, but I also applaud working with the community advisors of people who are right in the town of New Britain, who are also influencing this exhibition, how we've come together. We've done programmings together. There's all types of activities and programs lined up on their calendar. So I would encourage everyone to check out the lineup from now until October. There's things for kids, there's paint sessions, there's artist talk, there's music, all lined up on their calendar. And it's all about bringing the community together. And so that's one of the things that I really love about this. Individually, I think I appreciated being able to fulfill a dream, right? I have always wanted to work in the museums, and this process has allowed me to do so. So I absolutely would do it again if I was invited to. Absolutely. But I do think one of the things that I'm very excited about this is October 1st, there's going to be an art symposium that's going to take place. And I'm excited for that. And I think that let's keep our fingers crossed, right? That one of the artists will be able to join us for the art symposium on October 1st.
I love it.
So I'm praying that that comes together.
I listen, after I finished talking to you, when I was talking to you, I text Nico Whedon. I said, "Now why don't I know about this?" And then I text her picture with you and I. She's like, "Oh, where are y'all?" I said, "We at the New Britain Museum, girl, looking at the exhibit."
Shout out to Nico.
So shout out to Nico Whedon.
Yes, we again, they, There's going to be a lot of work taking place between now and October 1st. And I know it's all going to come together. But we are praying. I'm hoping that one of the artists is able to join us for the art symposium.
It would
I
be
know
wonderful.
It's going to be amazing.
Well, I've enjoyed this conversation. I always enjoy talking to you. When you get yourself situated in your new space and your new learning digs, I want you to come back on and talk about that.
Please have me. I am always, anytime Babz calls, I'm going to jump on. I'm going to jump on. I moved these boxes out the way. I was like, let me set up a little desk in the corner, so no worries. No worries.
Well, I want you to have a safe travels. Let us know when you land, when you get, when you get to where you got to go. And I know I'll see you in the next couple of weeks and months, because you'll be back and forth a little bit, I believe. And I just so enjoyed this exhibit, and I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much for the support. And thank you, everyone. And please go check out 30 Americans at the New Britain Museum of American Art. Thanks so much, Babz. This is wonderful.
All right. Have a good day. Get back to packing, girl, because I know what that is like.
Yes. All right. Thank you
so much.
Take care.
All righty. Okay, Harry, play us out. We are done for this Tuesday morning. Y'all be cool out there. Don't fall out. It is going to be a heat wave. Drink water, stay hydrated, keep some cucumbers in your bag. Whatever it is you got to do, be safe out there in these hot weather times. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'll talk to y'all. Okay, Harry.